We might be a few weeks away from those stifling heat waves, which makes now the perfect time to freshen up your home decor in time for summer. Here to help us is interior designer Glen Peloso. Glen, good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. It is a pleasure.
So how do we freshen up and bring some of the outside inside?
Well, I think we have to start with Brian. So Brian is responsible to make sure that we have lovely weather for the whole time. And once he's accomplished that, then we can move on to making your home decor work out. So, it's really just taking the stuff that's already naturally there and switching it up. So let's just start with, say, on the cushions, or on your sofas and on your chairs. Get rid of the ones that are sort of a heavier brocade, maybe a velvet, those things. Freshen them up and use something that it's more of a cotton, more of a linen that has a nice sort of, gentle, organic feel.
These are gorgeous.
They're lovely. The other thing that we can see a lot, particularly this year in 2025, is that the idea of sort of a more sort of natural color, very sort of earthy tones, more kind of hand-thrown. And then the idea of maximalism is still very much present. So if you want to do something like this, take a solid and then a pattern and then layer that on top of another pattern, that gives you a sort of a nice thick, but you want to do it in really sort of lovely colors. You can see in the tablecloth that I used at the bottom that it sort of has kind of a hand-stamped kind of feel. So there is really this movement towards handmade, natural colors, more sort of, organic colors versus being, more brighter, stronger. When you get to the outdoors, it's smart to sort of, you can see that more and more we have all kinds of outdoor tableware that's acrylic, but it looks really, really good. And so it looks more like it's China. So you could potentially take that same stuff, move it inside. I mean, often if they're, small kids and you want to sit at the table, it's nice to be able to use something that looks lovely but isn't so that. I'm liking some of these really, the slightly stronger colors that have that kind of south of France kind of feel, and the lemons and the greens. There's lots of kind of olive tones, lots of green and green blues, and you can see through this whole palette that that's certainly there. When you get inside, maybe change up in the bathroom, for instance, change up some of the candles so that it's nice to have candles in the bathroom, obviously, but it's also, look for something that has a slightly softer feel, so you're not using a black candle or something like that, but something in a little more cream or a light blue or a light sort of greeny blue, which is nice. You also want to, follow the idea of bringing some of that feeling of the indoors out. So look to the outside and see, hey, this is things are blooming. Things are, Annette has apparently the most spectacular collection of...
hands down.
Yes, some on her desk. But it's nice to bring those colors inside the house and get that sort of blooms. I mean, these are artificial, and so you can do that, but go outside, pick some things, bring them inside. It's a great way to make the powder room really inviting for the people that are there. Even things as simple as the tea towels that are in the kitchen, soften those up. Go for a much sort of softer color. Look in that sort of blue-green tone. Look for things that have a little bit more of an organic feel. I love, this is a company called House of Jude, and I love the idea of having the, it's a Turkish towel, and so I like them for two reasons. I mean, it's nice to have like this little basket, for instance, in this sort of soft green color. I keep these outside sometimes because it's nice for people to be able to just throw this over the shoulder if they're cold, but it's a great sort of thing to have around the pool. It's just a multifunctional. So you can use like that, but also once you use it as a towel, it dries out really quickly. That's great to be able to have. I do the same thing sometimes in the powder room. Just change the towels from terry towel to something more like a Turkish towel. It gives you that sort of warm, summery kind of feel when we get to all of a sudden feel like we're in the south of France or in the south of Italy, when really we're just in the south of Hamilton. But it feels like we're in the south of Italy because the weather's so lovely.
It's all about the feel.
And
we got 1 minute.
Some of those things that you might have outside, like this lantern, for instance. It is kind of an outdoor kind of a thing, but as you're setting up the indoors and the outdoors, you want to feel as though you have, the house finishes, for instance, with the dining room, and then you go outside and you have perhaps another dining room setup, which is outside near the barbecue, so you sort of have the kitchen, dining room, and then you get further back into the garden, and you might have a couple of chairs to create that sort of indoor-outdoor feel. So it's also smart to take some of the elements that are from outside and start to bring them inside into the home decor. So something like that lantern is a nice thing to be able to do. I also think that it's time to, some of the scatter rugs that you have around the house, that are in the kitchen, that lighten might have lighten those up and give you a softer feel.
We got to go. This is fantastic. Great colors, great fabrics. All the links on our website, chch.com/morninglive. Thanks for joining us.
It is a pleasure. Thank you for bringing summer.